the release of Echoes of Wisdom, we see a bold reimagining of Princess Zelda's role in the grand tapestry of Hyrule's legends. This time, she takes center stage on a daring quest to save not only Link, but her father and the kingdom itself from impending doom. While it feels groundbreaking to finally see Zelda as the hero of her own story in recent memory, it is not, in fact, the first time she has taken up the mantle of savior. To uncover that, we must journey back in time to the often overlooked chapter in the Zelda saga, The Legend of Zelda: Wand of Gamelon. In this infamous entry, Zelda embarks on her own perilous adventure to rescue Link and her father from the clutches of Ganon. Despite the narrative similarities between Echoes of Wisdom and Wand of Gamelon, the latter is often remembered not for its storytelling, but for its eccentric animations and the host of memes that have come to define it in the modern age. But I believe there is something more to Wand of Gamelon, something deeply underrated beneath the surface of its reputation. It holds a unique place in gaming history, not just as a curiosity, but as a moment where Princess Zelda kind of stepped out of the shadows and into the spotlight. For those interested, I've explored this in greater depth in my Echoes of CDI video, where I delve into the nuances and overlooked gems of the Zelda CDI games. Today, however, we're taking a different approach. To better understand this iconic chapter and, more importantly, to shed light on the voice behind Princess Zelda herself. I am absolutely honored to introduce someone truly legendary, Bonnie Jean Wilbur. As the first voice actress to ever give voice to Princess Zelda in the series, her work in Wand of Gamelon and Faces of Evil helped define a cultural moment in my perspective, whether knowingly or not. Despite the divisive reception of the games, her portrayal brought a layer of charm and personality to the princess, marking her as a true pioneer in the franchise's history. I'll be honest, when I had the chance to interview Bonnie, I was absolutely starstruck. Her contribution to gaming may not always get the recognition it deserves, but her voice is immortalized in one of the most unique chapters of Zelda's history. And now, without further ado, it is my absolute pleasure to present to you my conversation with the one and only Bonnie Jean Wilbur, the voice of Princess Zelda in the CDI games. Let's dive into her story, her experiences, and her reflections on bringing one of gaming's most beloved heroines to life. So, first off, I am, again, head over heels, starstruck over the mere thought that I am in a Zoom call with you talking about Zelda CDI and the historical implications surrounding it. And it's vast and it's nuanced and quite surprising, honestly.
Cool.
And if I could start with the first question here, I was wondering, along with many others, how exactly did you find yourself voicing Princess Zelda in the games, and what drew you to the character?
Well, at the time, so this was 30 years ago. I was working with a small theater company, a small equity theater company in Newburyport, Massachusetts, and a bunch of us went down. I don't know if it was Boston or outside of Boston, and it was someone who was working in the company. So it was kind of like a little repertory company, and it was someone who was working in the company who had the connection, and whoever it was said, can you get me a bunch of actors? So we all piled into cars and drove down, and yeah, we auditioned, and then same day recorded, and and I got the part. So my
Wow.
husband's in it too. My husband's in Zelda.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's fun.
So, how exactly did you prepare for the role? Did you create a backstory, or did you do any specific exercises or anything along those lines?
Well, gosh, I wish I wish I had. I mean, I do that a lot. I'm a theater actress primarily, and not just regular theater, but outdoor theater. So shifting to a microphone, I have to really pay attention to what I'm doing so I don't, blow the levels. But normally that's what I would do. I would create a backstory, I would create subtext, I would figure out all the different relationships and how my character feels about each person that she encounters. But really, in this case, I didn't have anything. I had the sides, I had the lines in front of me in this little tiny box of a recording space, and just sort of did it.
Wow, amazing. And were there any challenges you faced in bringing your character to life?
Well, I mean, Zelda's she's a princess, she's an ingenue, and at that time, that was my niche. That's how I was cast. I was cast as ingenues. So, no, I felt right at home with her.
Can you describe a memorable moment or scene during the recording process?
I was trying other characters, and there's a character, I guess, not quite who she is, but she's sort of sultry and sexy, and the guys they were really nice to me. They let me try, so I tried, and they were very sweet to me, and they were like, "Yeah, not quite. You're not quite getting it." So, but in Arzat, I do get to be sort of sultry, sexy. So I guess my voice is lowered a little bit, and I could get away with it. So.
Amazing. I think you already kind of touched upon this in previous questions, but what was it like working with the director and other cast members during the project?
Oh, well, like I said, I was in a little. I really didn't have any interaction with other characters. I mean, the group of actors who were there were all colleagues, people that I worked with doing theater, but booth was tiny. There was really only room for one person. And like I said, the guys who were directing were just lovely. They were playful and sweet, and they just were lovely. It was delightful. And I don't think I had done any voiceover work before that. I think that's the first time I ever did any voiceover work.
With that said, and we've kind of danced on this in the previous discussion before I pressed the record button, but you mentioned previously that you were kind of aware of the cultural impact of Zelda CDI in terms of like memes and just the general social atmosphere about it. Is there any kind of message or feeling do you hope audiences take away from the Zelda CDI games after all this time?
Oh, wow. Well, like I said, I don't know. I mean, I know that there are memes. I've been told that there are memes. I haven't really seen them. And the only way that I knew that Zelda was still like a big thing is because people started sort of tracking me down to, ask me questions and say hi. And I've had people ask for my autograph, which is blows my mind. But I work at a boarding school, and when the kids find out that I'm the voice of Zelda, suddenly I'm much cooler.
It's so cool. It is so amazing. I'm like gushing internally right now. I'm like,
So it helps my coolness clout, I guess.
yep. Speaking outside of Zelda, are there any upcoming projects you're excited about that you can share with us or you would like to promote or anything along those lines?
Well, yeah, I actually am thinking after doing Arzat, which was really fun, and Seth, who created it, is so lovely. But it was such fun to do that. I'd like to do more. I'd like to do more video games and animation. I'm starting a YouTube channel called the Fairy Godmother's Workshop. I'm going to be telling stories on there, plus a bunch of other stuff. But one of the things I really want to do is telling stories. And I've started working on Alice in Wonderland as a story, just for people to listen to, enjoy. Various people ask me, like when I perform, various audience members will come up to me afterwards and say that they really wished that I was on Audible, that they'd love to listen to, books that I read. So I like that idea. So I think like I say, I'm gonna start with a YouTube channel, and then I'm gonna see where it goes from there.
I think you would do amazing in Audible. You have that kind of relaxing, very sophisticated voice here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. That's very sweet.
No problem. And speaking of which, do you have any dream roles or characters you hope to voice in the future?
Oh, 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 that's a good question. Oh, I don't know. I've always had trouble with that. I remember when I went to school for theater, and they asked me that, and so that was years ago. I was 18 years old, and I said Juliet, and they laughed at me, which was really rude. But it was hard for me to come up with something because I'm always open. I'm always open, and I'm always excited for the next thing. Like my bio that I've finally come up with that I like is her favorite project is the one she's working on right now.
That's amazing. And speaking of which, since you were saying before how you were a outside theater actor,
Yeah.
what do you think sets voice acting apart from, let's say, more traditional aspects of acting?
Well, voice acting, they're not seeing you. You can't rely on gestures or, any kind of physicality. It all has to be in your voice. So you have to bring in all the elements have to be there in your voice. And that's very different. Outdoor theater is big. You have to project, but you also there's got to be a lot of space between you and your partner, your scene partner, so that people can see what's going on. Your gestures need to be larger, and the microphone is so close that you really got to dial it in a lot.
That's very interesting.
Hmm.
Speaking more broadly about acting in general, what would you say are your biggest influences or inspirations?
Oh, in theater. Well, I love Shakespeare. I love Samuel Beckett. Lately I've been really interested in commedia, and I directed a production of The Game of Love and Chance, which is by Mirabeau. He's roughly around the same time as Moliere. So, it's kind of a fast-paced French comedy from the late 18th century.
Huh.
So, yeah. Does that answer your question?
Oh yeah, absolutely, and it's
Okay.
very interesting. Um, and speaking, going back to Zelda CDI, and I know you mentioned that you were familiar with a lot of the meme culture, anything like that.
Hmm.
And you also mentioned that others have tried to reach out to you. Is there
Hmm.
anything that kind of stands out on any instances where individuals would try to reach out to you in order to like say hi or anything like that? Anything like any oddities or anything along those lines?
Well, it was really fun when Seth got a hold of me. We started texting back and forth quite a bit before we ever spoke on the phone. And the first thing he said when we spoke on the phone was, "Oh, you sound just like her," which was so fun. I thought that was great fun.
Out of curiosity, would you be able to recite one of Zelda's lines here?
Oh, golly. Yeah, do you have any of them?
Um, I should probably be prepared for this. Uh, Here, I'll just type something in on the chat here.
I've got my so I'm talking to you on my phone, but I've also got my tablet here. I could open my texts, I think. I'm so not very tech savvy.
Oh, you're fine. You're perfect. Okay. I'm trying to find like I know some of them by heart, but like I just don't want to mess it up, and I'm trying to
But
find the
they've all
official.
left your head right now, right?
Um,
That's what happens to me. I have something in my head and then woof, it's just gone. It was really fun at the convention. Jeff Rath and I went to the video game convention in Boston, and we were signing autographs there. And both of us were just blown away by the wonderful fans who they brought all kinds of cool things. Like they brought swords they had made and just all kinds of cool art and stuff that they wanted us to sign, which was super, super fun. And um, one person came up, Jeff and I were sitting next to each other, and the person came up and looked at us both and then took a step back and said, "Your voices were a big part of my childhood." And it was so sweet. We were both so just blown away by that.
I can definitely attest to that feeling. It's so influential, so it takes me back.
That's cool.
Here's one line, and do you remember this? But Father, what if something happens to you?
Oh, yeah. Okay. I can do that. Right. He's going. What's he going off to do? He's going off to.
So, if memory serves, what happens at the beginning of Wand of Gamelon, the king said that his duke is in trouble and he's going to an island to aid him. To
Oh yeah.
which his daughter replies, "But father, what if something happens to you?"
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I can do that. Just any old time. Just do it.
Yeah,
Okay. But father, what if something happens to you?
that is so perfect. I'm like gushing internally right now. This is like a dream come true, and
Oh, good. Good. That's great. That's so fun. I love that.
if I could get you to say just one more line,
Sure.
it's the ending, and I'm trying to find out where it is.
Nothing, Link. We were just about to have a feast. Is that it?
Yeah,
Okay. So, all right. So what's she? Okay. So is she kind of making fun of Link here?
yeah, like Link just comes out and he's a bit confused, like he just woke up from a nap and he's like, "What happened?" And Zelda's like, "Ha ha ha, nothing, Link. We were
Yeah.
just about to have a feast," in like a
Like,
playful sort of way.
yeah, like that's all that's going on.
Yeah,
All this other stuff, it's in the past.
yeah.
Okay. Nothing, Link. We were just about to have a feast.
I am gushing in turn. This is so amazing. I am truly blessed right now. Again, I am thoroughly appreciative of you sitting down for this interview.
My pleasure. Absolutely, my pleasure.
If you could describe a memorable moment surrounding the Zelda CDI experience, not just what you went through during the production side, but years after the fact, is there any other memorable moments that you would like to share?
Hmm. Hmm. Well, there's one, but I don't think I can share it. I wish I could, but I can't.
No worries, I understand.
Um, no, I just let's see. When people when people started getting a hold of me, I was really puzzled at first because it was so long ago. So I was really puzzled, but then as I started to learn more and figure out, oh, it's got like this cult following, like people really loved this. They were really into this. It's so fun. It's so it's so really cool to be part of something that brought people joy. Like what a great thing. So I'm really grateful for that.
Absolutely. But again, I am deeply appreciative of this. And is there anything you would like to end on if you wanted to share the audience with anything surrounding Zelda CDI or yourself personally?
Ooh, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I've talked about myself enough.
You are perfect. And again, you are the first Zelda in the games. That is so cool. That you're
Cool.
literally the first one.
Cool. The first Zelda. Woohoo!
Bonnie Jean Wilbur is nothing short of a delight to converse with. As the very first voice actress to bring Princess Zelda to life in the games, she holds a unique and pivotal place in the franchise's history. Beyond her iconic role, Bonnie has cultivated a remarkable career on the stage as a distinguished theater actress. Speaking of legacies, I'm excited to share that I have an ambitious project on the horizon, a documentary series that will dive deep into the history and creation of the CDI games. This series will feature exclusive interviews with the talented individuals who shaped these fascinating chapters in gaming history. While it's still in the early planning stages, I can't wait to bring this project to life and share it with you all in the future.